All right. Hi, welcome everyone. My name is Jasmine Drinkard. I am a professional school counselor at Louisville Male High School in Louisville, Kentucky. And today I'm very honored that so many people decided to join and talk to us about college during COVID-19. So we have some very experienced college admissions reps present today. And so thank you for tuning in for our virtual college panel, COVID-19 edition. So at this time, I'd like all of the panelists to introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amy Huffstetler. I am the Assistant Director for Admissions at the University of Louisville. I work with students in Jefferson County and then a couple of other counties within the Commonwealth as well. And I can't wait to answer your questions this afternoon.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brandy Chamberlain, and I am a senior admissions counselor for Eastern Kentucky University. And I am actually based in Louisville, so I am not on campus, and I cover Jefferson as well as 16 other counties in the state of Kentucky. So we're looking forward to talking with you all a little bit today.
Hi, everyone. My name is Karina Bruce. I am an admissions counselor for WKU. I pretty much cover all of Louisville, outside counties, and then also some Southern Indiana folks as well.
Hi, I'm Katie Gobin. I am a senior admissions counselor at Spalding University. I work with the South End schools in Jefferson County, and then with some of the surrounding counties and in Lexington in Northern Kentucky. So you can find me all over the place, but I'm excited to help get you through this process.
Hey everyone, my name is Kendrick Quisenberry and I'm the Assistant Director of Recruitment at Murray State University. I'm actually based in Louisville, same as Brandy, and I cover all the JCPS school as well as surrounding counties. And it's a pleasure to be here with you guys today.
Hi, everyone. My name is Leanne Morgan. I'm the Senior Enrollment Counselor from Thomas More University. I work with students across the state of Kentucky. So like Katie, you'll catch me all over the place. I am really excited to work with you guys today and get to talk to you about this whole process.
Hi, everyone. My name is Logan Sparks, and I am an Assistant Director of Admissions at the University of Kentucky. So we are excited to be here. You likely have a lot of questions and a lot of stuff sort of swirling around in your brain right now. So hopefully we can help.
Awesome. All right, well, let's get started. Karina, this first question is for you. How are institutions communicating with students, and what specifically right now do you believe they're communicating with students about?
Yes, so that's a really good question. So as we know, many families and students are kind of going through a tough time trying to balance everything going on with online school and trying to make sure that they have everything together for college in the fall. But what I can tell you is that many of us are doing different outlets to try and be sure that we reach everyone. So some of us are doing some postcards, we're reaching out via text message, we are calling folks. We also have the ability to set up virtual meetings. So if you're kind of like me and you like to see people face to face, and just talk on the phone, we can definitely set up a virtual kind of meeting, a one-on-one, if you will. So if that's something that you would like to do, we definitely can set that up. But I think it's also important to keep in mind too that we are here for you all, and that's what our job is. We wouldn't have a job without you guys. So just keep in mind that our communication is always open. Whatever questions you all have for us, we are here to help you and to answer you. But also keeping in mind that just like it's a change for you guys, it's also a change for us. So just be patient with us if maybe we don't have the answer right then and there, but we definitely will find the answer at some point. But just make sure that you keep an open line of communication with us, and we will keep an open line of communication with you as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Karina.
Thank you.
Amy, this question's for you. What are some of the changes colleges are making to meet students' admissions needs during COVID-19?
That's a really good question. And I know that is a question that I've gotten a lot. I know that we've all gotten this question a lot in terms of how are we working with students. The first thing that I definitely want to say, and I think that we'll hear this sort of throughout the presentation, is as we've always been, we are student-centered programming, right? So we want to ensure that our students have the access that they need and want from us, as long as you're communicating with us, as Karina mentioned. I know many of us, at least for the fall 2020, have gone test optional, or for example, for the University of Louisville, you can submit a personal statement in lieu of a test score. I would also encourage students to let us know if you had planned on taking an ACT or an SAT this spring, right? Many of our students are planning on taking things this spring and over the summer. If you were planning to do that and your plans are now out the window because those got canceled, let us know those things. Those are things that we can provide you additional options, whether it's a personal statement or, another way that we can support you as we get into class placement and things like that. Many of us do use ACT scores to place you in your classes. So if you had planned on taking it again so that you could bump up your score to get into your math or your English class, absolutely let us know. And going forward, Spalding has always been test optional, so awesome, Spalding. But so many of us are really trying to work with your students as best as we can. The big thing is to let us know what is going on. And I know we'll touch on this a little bit more in a couple of minutes, but also let us know about your financial situation. If there's any fees that you can't cover, we all have orientation fees that are coming up, and maybe enrollment deposits and things like that are coming through. Again, let us know what's going on. Many of us have a plan in place for almost everything that you could potentially have going on. So as long as you let us know, then we can continue to help you, and don't feel like it is you're asking for something additional. You're not, right? You're asking for guidance as we move through the process. So just let us know what's going on in your world, what's happening in your situation, and we can help. Each institution is here to help. All of us are here to help you.
That's awesome. Thank you, Amy. What I think is so amazing right now is so many institutions are really working flexibility into all of the things that impact kids. And I think that's amazing. Logan, this next question is for you. What changes can students expect as it relates to registration and orientation? Amy kind of alluded a little bit to that.
Yeah, so I think that most institutions in the state of Kentucky have either made the decision to move all of their registration and orientation programs online this summer. And if they haven't, they're in the midst of making those decisions. And it's certainly a real possibility that we'll all do orientation or registration online. So what I would encourage students to do is, if you've made the decision to attend a school, don't hesitate to go ahead and sign up for orientation. In fact, go ahead and do sign up for orientation. First of all, that helps us plan better for next year and helps us understand sort of, what our campus is going to look like and the students that we're going to serve. But also, go ahead and sign up for it. And that's sort of one more item you can mark off of your to-do list. And we will over communicate you need to know about orientation. So I know at the University of Kentucky, we actually did some early orientations earlier this semester that were online. And so we utilized a combination of Zoom and Canvas, or similar to like Google Scholar or Google Hangout or whatever. And so we kind of use a combination of different technologies to put on the orientation. So you're still meeting with your academic advisor. You are still meeting, in many cases, with an orientation leader who's a current student. You also likely meet in larger groups with other incoming students who maybe share the same major as you, or maybe live in the building that you're going to live in, or whatever it may be. So while it's certainly not the same as being on a campus and being there in person, all of the elements will still be the same. So again, you'll still meet with an advisor, you'll still schedule classes, you'll still hear from all of the offices or the resources and different things that you need to know about before you're ready to move on campus. So it will look different, of course. Like I said, I think most colleges have either already or will make the decision to move online for their orientation, but it'll still have all of the same elements, all the same things that we do on campus. You're going to be doing those online. And yeah, again, it'll look different, but we're doing our best to sort of adapt to a new normal for sure.
Perfect. Thank you, Logan. All right, Leanne, this next question is for you. So definitely right now, trying times for a lot of people in America. So what specific concerns or questions are students having right now regarding financial aid and scholarships?
Yeah, so of course, like you said, it is a trying time for everyone across the country and across the world. So a financial aid, just quick overview, is a lot of schools are trying to adjust and adapt to all of these changes. So looking at scholarships, because I know a lot of students either have received scholarships or they've been applying for scholarships. A lot of schools in this group specifically, and even across the state of Kentucky, have extended their scholarship deadlines. So my biggest recommendation is reaching out to your enrollment counselor to ask about if their scholarship deadline got extended, whether that is to apply for them or to accept them and accept that you're going to that school. I know specifically Thomas More and Spalding, when you are accepted, you are offered a scholarship and that's locked in right then and there. So it's definitely worth reaching out to your enrollment counselor to figure out which school does what, because every school is just a little bit different when it comes to financial aid. The next piece of financial aid is FAFSA. I know right now is definitely not the time where you want to sit on a computer or a laptop for hours and fill out the FAFSA if you haven't already, but it is huge in helping students, especially in Kentucky. I personally am not from Kentucky, so when I started working in Kentucky and I realized there are so many grants available to students in Kentucky and KEYS money as well, you definitely want to fill out the FAFSA to take advantage of those grants to see if you're eligible for them. Just because a sibling wasn't eligible for them does not mean that you won't be. So definitely fill that out. There are grants specific for Kentucky private schools, so be aware of that as well. And again, reach out to your enrollment counselor because they will either know the answer or they can put you in contact with someone in financial aid to get you the answer on if you're eligible for grants, if you're missing something from FAFSA, et cetera, et cetera. And then the other question I've been getting a lot about is about FAFSA verification. About 1/3 of students across the country are selected for verification. Most of the time, FAFSA does that at random, and it is because the way that they've tried to make FAFSA easier, it's essentially adding another step to verify that all the information you put in your FAFSA is correct. So if you filled it out, or if you were selected for verification, it doesn't mean you filled it out wrong by any means. It just means there's a piece of paper, a form, something along those lines that you have to turn in back to the financial aid office. For some students, that could be that they have to do it at every school that they applied for. And then for other students, it could just be 1 or 2 schools that they applied for. So if you got that verification worksheet, definitely reach out to your enrollment counselor so we can get that process moving and we can really secure your financial aid. That's huge. And then as far as changes in income, I know a lot of families have experienced potentially being laid off or furloughed or losing their jobs or pay cuts, something along those lines. At Thomas More specifically, I know that we have a special conditions form. So if you have had that change consecutively for 10 weeks or longer, then we have that form. It may not be able to be evaluated until midsummer, but we have that form to help figure out if we need to change your FAFSA because your family's income changed. That's a huge deal. So my guess is other schools have that as well. So again, reach out to your enrollment counselors to make sure, especially if you were affected in income, that you are on the right steps to try to get as much grant money as possible and get your financial aid worked out as much and as quickly as possible too.
Thank you, Leanne. That was a great response and definitely some great advice of reaching out to institutions again, if any family is experiencing any financial hardship. All right, Kendrick, the next question is for you. What changes to housing are institutions making right now? You know, a lot of the high school students are excited about, you know, the potential of living in a residence hall, but with COVID-19 and everything going on, what are some of the changes there?
Yeah, great question. So first off, I think that's a dream for a lot of students, right? You graduate high school, then you get to go to college, you get to meet your roommate and all of those situations. The first thing I want to tell you guys is that right now as colleges and institutions, we're all paying close attention to what's going on. We're following the guidelines from from the governors to what our schools think. And we're not going to put anybody in any situation that's going to put them in harm. Right now, since August is months away right now, and we have to start planning. So right now, everybody's on course, it looks like. We're going to hope that we can move everybody in the beginning or middle of August, whenever school starts, and then start the semester all fine. If not, every different school is going to have their own plans in place about what they're going to do for the students. I know me personally at Murray, we've gotten calls from where we paid our housing deposit. What happens if we can't live in there? At Murray, and I'm sure other schools as well, we'll refund that and everything. So we don't want you to stress out about the money aspect of it or what's going to happen. If students do live in the residential halls, even though it's an all clear situation, we still are going to be doing, our custodian staff and everyone else is going to do their part to make sure everything is clean, to make sure we're sterilizing and everything. So we do want students to have that enjoyable experience that all of us on this call got to experience of living on the residential campuses and enjoying that experience. But one thing we can make sure for you guys is that we're going to be following strict orders here from our governor and then our leadership to make sure we're not putting anyone in any situation where they're not going to be safe at. So the key right now for all students out there currently is that if you've already applied for housing, you've gotten that taken care of, that's great. We're still going to process your applications, and in the summer via email or phone calls, however all the other universities do it, you'll get your roommate situation and your housing assignments. If you're on the fence and you haven't applied for housing yet because you're still trying to figure out, or maybe you didn't know what's going to happen with school housing in the future, I would tell you still go ahead, apply for housing, get your spot situated on campus. If something changes, whatever university you were looking at, we'll give you detailed information about what's going on and what's going to be the best steps. But for right now, just look at housing like a normal situation. Go ahead, apply, get accepted, and then hopefully come August, we'll get you in that situation where you're with your roommate for the first time, and we'll be ready to kick off a great school year.
Awesome. Thank you, Kendrick. All right. Our next question is for Brandy. Online course options with everything looming right now with COVID-19. I know a lot of institutions are toying with the idea of introducing more online options. What response do you think institutions are having to that?
So I know I can speak for all of us on here. The majority of us have already said that all of our summer classes will be online. So where that kind of comes into play is now there are a lot more online options for summer classes than what there normally would have been at each and every one of our schools. The main thing for incoming freshmen to know if they do want to do summer online classes and kind of get a jump start is most schools will allow first-time freshmen to do online classes in the summer, but I'm going to kind of echo what a lot of what we've been saying. If you have specific questions and that's something that you're interested in, contact your individual admissions counselor, and we will be able to help you get that going, point you in the right direction, and that sort of thing. I do know Thomas More is still in the process of reviewing theirs, and they should have that decision made soon. But for the rest of us, all summer courses are online. There are no in-person summer courses. And then, you know, everything is still kind of up in the air. None of us know what the future is going to hold. So we are all, like Kendrick said, we're all proceeding forward with the hope that fall semester is going to start off as we thought it would 2 months ago. But we are all keeping an eye on that. We all have contingency plan in place to where if we have to start the fall semester online and then we can possibly move to in-person, if the whole entire fall semester has to be online. And so all of us will communicate all of that information out to students. You never have to worry about, oh, well, what is my school doing? Because once a decision is made, we will communicate that out, and we will follow, every single one of us will follow all federal, local, state, and federal guidelines and recommendations, because ultimately the main thing is keeping everyone safe and healthy.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandy. All right, Katie, next question for you. How would you advise students right now on finding the right fit? We probably have a lot of senior students who maybe thought that they knew where they wanted to go to school, but now with everything that's happening, maybe they're having some self-doubt. But then we also have our juniors who are gearing up for their senior year, and they are wanting to explore options.
Yeah, so I think that's a very underrated question that students are having right now. So many of the main things we're focusing on is, well, how am I going to pay for it? Is it even going to be open? But I know for me, I was supposed to graduate in November with my master's. I don't know if that's going to happen anymore due to other things. So I get it. Like, there's so much unknown of those things you felt so certain about even 2 months ago are not as clear. They're as clear as mud, as my grandma always tells me. So think about it. What your plan was for the fall, what your plan was for fall 2020 and fall 2019 may look very different now, and that's okay. My best advice to you is to follow what your heart and your gut are telling you. If you want to stay home and be close to your family right now, that's okay. Don't feel that feeling isn't valid, because maybe that's not what your best friend is doing. And because what your family situation is very different than their situation. So open up to all these other colleges, stay at home if you want to, still move away if you want to. There's no right or wrong answer to how you're going to approach the fall. The best thing you can do is, if you are kind of on that fence, I think Kendrick kind of hit on it I think we've all kind of hit on it. Well, I think this is what I want to do, but I'm not really sure. Still move forward with the school you've been talking to, and communicate with your admissions counselor. Talk to them, let them know, like, hey, these are the fears and these thoughts that I'm having, because maybe they can help alleviate some of those. They're not going to make them go away right now. Unfortunately, I don't think anyone can. But we can try to help work through it. And in the meantime, all of these schools here today, and I'm sure every other school in the state and surrounding states, have online visit options. So go online, visit that campus, get a feel for what it looks like, because even if you do end up taking an online class at that school until October, you still want to get to know where you're at. I know Amy shared a story with me earlier about a student who it was on the fence of going to U of L and then staying home at their local community college. Both great options, and now is really nervous about taking an online class, which is totally fair. So Amy talked to them about, well, maybe a gap year is a great option for you. And what does that look like? Because at this point, there is a chance you're taking an online class at either institution. So, have those conversations with us, with your school counselors, because as it's been repeated time and time again today, we all want what is best for you. It's not about what's best for us. It's what's best for you. I know there's been some things going around too of notice what restaurants are really taking care of their employees, or what stores are going above and beyond to protect and keep their employees healthy. Do that with your colleges too. Notice which ones are sending out the more compassionate emails, or maybe laying a little bit low with you. But also keep that in mind, because that does matter. And we want you to do what's best for you, because none of us saw this coming. None of us have ever helped, I guess, enroll students during a pandemic. And hopefully we don't ever have to again. So you guys are kind of the guinea pigs, and I know that you're tired of that, but help us help you. We don't know what you want or what you need until you tell us. So, yeah.
That is great advice, Katie. Like, amazing advice. All right, next we're going to jump into some questions that were submitted to the panel. Amy, I'm going to bring you into the fold here. This question particularly pertains to seniors and their GPA. How will changes in students' GPA be received by institutions, specifically for students whose grades have suffered due to COVID-19 in high school?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and a question that we're addressing not only on the high school side, but on the college side as well, right? All of our students at the college level, we all went online this semester. So there have been a lot of challenges that our students are facing. And again, you know, as I mentioned before, we are really trying to have a student-centered enrollment process. So I would say, and I know you all are going to hear this 5,000 times, because every school is a little bit different with how we do things. But reach out to your counselor. If you are taking a dual credit class and you have opted into pass-fail. So for example, the University of Louisville has allowed our dual credit students to opt into pass-fail for their classes for this past spring semester. Find out what that means at UK and Thomas More and Spalding and WKU, or whatever institution that you're planning on taking those credits to. Obviously, if you're coming to the University of Louisville, fine. We're good with that. You're all good. But we also know that there are students that are impacted negatively with pass-fail grades. You know, I think someone mentioned before, I can't remember if it was Leanne or Katie, most institutions, once you've got a scholarship, that's your scholarship. So if you're, you know, if your grades are have dipped a little bit because of your GPA or because of this transition online, I can say from personal experience, I've worked at 3 institutions in the Commonwealth, and I've never taken away a scholarship from a student. Now, does that happen? I don't know, but we have never seen it happen at 3 institutions across the Commonwealth. So most of us are, you know, are not going to take that away from you. If you are considering, if you're still applying, or maybe you wanted to apply and you knew your GPA was going to go up that little bit to get you to admissibility, or maybe admissibility into your program, but now you're in pass-fail, and so your GPA is not changing as drastically as you thought it was going to, let us know. There are ways that we can continue to help you. Maybe you submit a personal statement discussing that, or you ask about what sort of placement test you can take to see if you're going to get into the coursework that you need to get into to get started with that program. So overall, the GPA question is a little bit tricky, because we are kind of doing things a little bit differently. But I think at the end of the day, communicate. We, as Logan said, we are going to over communicate with you. So over communicate with us too, because it's going to make everything easier. I would rather get 25 emails from you and get you the outcome that makes sense for you, than to not hear from you at all and then have you be upset with the outcome that you got. So we're absolutely going to be working with students. We know that this is a trying time, and as Katie said, unfortunately, you're the guinea pigs, and we're really sorry. But know that everything that we're doing is for you, and hopefully in your best interest.
And one thing I just would like to kind of piggyback on that, just to kind of let you know, every school is different and every procedure is different. But like we said earlier, we want what is best for you. And the way most of us are going, as far as once you're admitted, pretty much unless you fall below that absolute minimum GPA, you're going to be okay. But for most of us, the way we're handling it, even if we ourselves might not be going to pass fail options for our current students, say if the district that you're in does, or if you have a friend in another district, because we know JCPS is not going to pass fail. The way we at EKU and the way a lot of schools are going to handle that, as long as you meet your district's requirements for graduation, that's what we care about. So don't let that worry kind of weigh even heavier on you, because we are definitely going to be working with you guys, because we know this is out of your hands the same as it's out of our hands. So we want to take off that stress as much as we can.
Awesome. Did anyone else want to jump in or respond? Okay. All right, I'll roll to the next question. Leanne, this one's for you. How will colleges handle pass-fail in regards to dual credit for high school? So for example, our seniors in our dual credit course at Mill this week had to make the hard decision of either choosing to get a grade in that dual credit class or move to pass-fail. So some of them are a little concerned of how that will be perceived at whatever institution they may plan on attending in the fall.
So piggybacking off of what everyone has said, contacting your enrollment counselor is huge, especially with this. For example, U of L allowed their dual credit students to opt into the pass-fail for their dual credit classes, whereas Thomas More did not. We actually denied our dual credit students that option. And there were a lot of factors that went into that decision, I'm sure, for U of L and for Thomas More and for other schools. So that right there is an example of how two schools are totally different with their policies. And then when you look at transferring that credit, so for example, if you're taking a class through U of L, but you are coming to Thomas More, the best thing that you can do is send your transcript from the college or colleges that you have taken classes through to your enrollment counselors, because then they can go to their teams and get that evaluated and come back to you and say, we are accepting all of these credits. We are only accepting half of these credits, et cetera, et cetera. Same with AP scores. You know, look at that as well. I know AP is changing this year a little bit, of course, like everything else is. So I've had students email me and say, I'm taking these AP exams in May. If I pass them, how will they transfer in? And I have taken these exams and I have taken these classes. And usually within a day or two, I have the answers on how those credits will transfer in and what they need in order for those to transfer in. So I know, like everyone has said too, we are here for you and we are very much student-centered. So help us help you, like Katie said. Stay in contact with us and let us know if you have those classes that you are wanting to transfer in, or even if you just have questions about those classes, the pass-fail, the grades, the GPAs, everything. So that way we can work with our institutions and get you the answer as quickly as possible to help you, one, make a college decision, and two, help you figure out what would be the best option for you.
I think that's an important point too, Leanne, is just to keep in mind that, you know, kind of as we all have been saying, is these are changes for everyone. So, you know, depending on the institution, maybe institution A does this, but then institution B chooses to do that. And so it's just something where, you know, you want to be sure that you keep that open line of communication no matter what you're doing. And if you have questions about your dual credit, that's perfectly fine. It's normal. Maybe we have those same questions too. So just being sure that you reach out to any kind of resource that you have. And also keeping in mind too, that a lot of times that when we get updated information, we always try our best to relay that information to your counselors as well. So maybe if you think that they may have the answer, if you just comfortable speaking with them, maybe it would be a good idea if you wanted to reach out to your school counselor first and say, hey, I have a question about this institution, how they're doing dual credit or anything like that. Do you think that you have the option? And if not, do you think that you can get me in contact with somebody who does?
Right. And I think even before this pandemic started and all of this shifting happened, it's been a very similar answer before this, is every institution is just a little bit different. But I think now more than ever, it's important to understand how significant that is and how significant and important it is to stay in contact to make sure that you have all of your T's crossed and all of your I's dotted. I've had students create Excel spreadsheets and email me and say, hey, can you explain my scholarships to me? I want to make sure I have them all right. Or, hey, I have these AP classes and these dual credit classes. Can you just triple confirm that this is how they'll transfer in? So that way they can actually just line up all their schools, compare them, and that helps them make a decision. So I think now more than ever, it's important to understand that every institution is just different enough that you're going to have to check in regularly with your enrollment counselor to make sure that you have the right information for Thomas More, for Western Kentucky, for Spalding, for U of L, and so on.
And the one thing I want to add is, I know Jasmine started off the panel discussing how so much flexibility has gone into what we do. And we're student-centered enrollment. I like that term, Amy. Very nice. But I think that it's important for you guys to keep in mind also that while we think we have thought of everything, we haven't. There is going to be something that comes up that we're like, oh my gosh, how did we forget about this? So that's why it's so important for you to tell us and to bring these things to our attention, because we may not have the answer that second, but we can find out, and you could save so much trouble for another student, and that's great. So we appreciate that too. So communication, it's can't be explained enough right now.
Perfect. Thank you. And so that really kind of lends itself into the next topic that I want to talk about, which is the role of the school counselor. Students, I definitely want you to know that if you have any concerns about college, your plans, if you are anxious about the decisions that you've already made, and now you want to make some different decisions and run something by someone, that's why your school counselor is here. If you feel uncomfortable reaching out to a college because maybe it feels intimidating because it's not high school, right? Reach out to your school counselor. I would say right now is the time to lean on us and allow us to be that liaison between you and the college admissions counselor. One thing I know for sure, I have never met an admissions counselor that isn't willing to get a student on the path to where they need to be successful. And if it's at their institution, they're going to do everything they can do to get you into their institution. But all of the ones that are here with us today, they will do whatever is necessary to get you to the right institution for you. And so, definitely lean on us as your school counselors. That is why we're here. We are an email, a text, a phone call away. We are still managing all of our conference request Google Forms. So definitely reach out. If you are struggling with something that has to do with college admissions and you need an answer, reach out to us. We can reach out to the admissions rep if that's something that you cannot do. I do also want to share that one of the questions had to do with final transcripts. We are still processing all transcripts via Parchment. So you can definitely still go on, log into your Parchment account and request a transcript to be sent to an institution. In the event that you do not have technology in your home and you are unable to get into your Parchment account, please, again, lean on us as your school counselor. Send an email, text, whatever to us, and we will make sure that your transcript gets to the institution. Okay? All right, so at this point, I would like to segue into final thoughts from each one of you. Amy, we'll start with you.
Sounds good. I think my final thought is just that I echo what everything that Jasmine said. I have been honored to work with the colleagues that are on here for several years. And not only will we work with you to get you into our institution, but we all know each other. So getting you into and institution, getting you where the best fit where what makes sense for you, and really wanting to have candid, open, and honest conversations with you is something that I look forward to when I work with students. So know that we're communicating with you, we're learning. We are learning like crazy, so that we can support you, and really, we're here for you to work through these next couple of months and help you and your families, but mostly you. So don't let your mom call me without you there. So we want to make sure that we're working with you, but we want to make sure that we can support you in every way that makes sense for you.
Yeah, so this is an exciting time and an overwhelming time in normal times, let alone everything that we're going through with all of the COVID-19 stuff and everything being up in the air. The disappointments of you not getting to go through the rites of being a senior in high school at this time of year. So we understand, and the best thing that I can tell you is your counselor is going to be your greatest resource, because it is overwhelming and every school has different policies and different procedures and different deadlines. It's a lot to keep all of that straight and know, well, I got to do this for this and this for this school and this for this school. So let us be your resource. We literally, truly, this is what they pay us to do, is to help you through this process, to make this process as least confusing as it can be. So just let us help you. And there's no question, I promise, that we haven't already heard. So just ask us the questions that you really, truly need the answers to. And even if we're not the person who will handle that for you, we will make sure you have the direct contact information of the person who will take care of that for you.
I think I was just going to talk a little bit about just the fact that, this is, and I know you guys have heard this 1,000 times already, but it really is unprecedented times. And I think that it's important to sometimes take a seat and to just let yourself go through the emotions that you're feeling right now, because it's normal and it's okay. But also realize that we want to be that pillar of support for you, no matter what your situation is. And, just keeping in mind that it's okay to be overwhelmed. It's okay to not know the answer to something. It's okay to not know what you want to study, or even what meal plan you want, or anything like that. It's okay to not know the answers to that. But just keep in mind that all of us here today, and no matter what institution you choose to go to, we all want to be here to help you. And we're doing our best to make sure that even when we are sending you information, that we're trying not to be over, have maybe some different information that we have to relay to you. So maybe just keeping in mind that, kind of think of us as kind of like a mentor, whatever you want to call it, just to try and be sure that you have everything you need. So just understand that your mental health is just as important to us as being sure that you have everything else that you need on the college end.
So something Jasmine hit on that I wanted, it triggered in my mind, is the students who don't have access to technology at home right now. You may be feeling a little lost and confused, even more so, because we're all sitting here telling you how we're going to help you, but most of it's done online. We will figure that out with you. But just like your school counselors don't know, we don't know. So if you can send us an email from your phone, or, have your counselor let us know, we'll find a way to get that application ran through for you. That's something I'm speaking on behalf of everyone, because we didn't talk about this, but I feel that confident in this group of individuals in any school in the state that we'll figure that out. So don't let that feel like another burden on top of what you already have going on. Because with that being said, my final thought is, like Karina said, take time to grieve what you just lost. Like Brandy mentioned it also, you guys have had a rough into your senior year, and none of us are here to act like that's not true. That is why every one of us, for the most part, have extended our deadlines until June 1st. I want you to honestly take time to feel those emotions and to be sad, because we can't just act like it's not happening. It is. So take time for yourself, take those moments, and then come to us in a week or two and be like, okay, what's done is done. Let's find something positive and move forward from there. That's what I want from you. I want you to find a home next year that you're happy and excited to be at, and that everyone here helped you find that, and that it didn't feel like it wasn't what you wanted it to be. So good luck.
Yeah, a lot of echo in the same sentiments. First off, I just want to say congratulations to you guys. I know it's a crazy time, but you guys are seniors, and graduation is right down the street from you guys, basically. I know it may not be the graduation that you envision, but again, it's still a big achievement, and we don't want to overlook that for you guys. So congratulations. That was a lot of effort that you guys put forth, and we all recognize it on this call. So again, a little clap for you guys. Congratulations on that. Next thing is, again, the fall is coming. We've given a lot of information about your next steps, but the one thing that I do want to make sure that you guys all know is that this is going to end. Life may not be exactly like it was before, but this will end. You'll be on our campuses eventually. You'll walk across our stages for graduation at whatever school you choose to go to, and then we'll make sure that we celebrate you guys greatly, and you'll get a chance to experience these items again once you get on our stage. So breathe, relax, get a chance to express your emotions, and realize there's a lot more celebrations coming up in the future.
I'm going to piggyback off of everyone. I think that it is huge to recognize that it is normal to have emotions about everything that's going on. I have had my fair share of emotions through this whole thing. I miss being on campus and even seeing my students and working with you guys in person. Everyone on the screen I consider a friend as well as a colleague. And so it's hard for me not to see them in person as much as I used to. So, understand that we are going through, similar situations as you, and we're grieving with you, and we're understanding that, right now college may not be the top of your mind. It might not be your first priority because your whole world was just turned upside down. So we totally get it. I had a mom earlier call me a college genie, that she could rub her little lamp and email me and I would have an answer within a day or two. So think of us that way. We are here for you. There is no stupid question. We have unlimited wishes. And if you think of anything, don't let college be a burden. Make it an exciting time. It is exciting. It's a huge transition to this whole new step of your life. And even though things are not normal right now, we're going to keep looking to the future, and eventually we will all get there together.
I feel like it's a little bit unfair that I have to go after everybody at the very end, but I'll share something that perhaps is a little bit more maybe logistical. So once you have decided to go to a certain school, once you've made that decision, I would encourage you all to ask your admission counselor or whoever you've been working with at that school about ways that you can go ahead and begin to engage with your future classmates. So a lot of schools have Facebook pages or some other type of technology or platforms that they've set up, especially during this time where students aren't going to normal orientations or not meeting each other in that way. So a lot of schools are setting up some sort of network or platform. Again, even if it's just as simple as a class of 2024 Facebook page or whatever it may be, but ask your admission counselor if those opportunities are available at your school so that you can go ahead and begin to connect with some folks that you'll be seeing in the fall. And that kind of helps you, I think, to feel a little bit less anxious about what's coming in the fall semester. But it also helps build excitement and help you start, connecting with people and making relationships. This is especially important if you don't have a roommate yet and you're looking for a roommate. So make sure that you're asking about those things once you've made the final decision to attend a school, because it's likely that they exist. And I think it will help you feel more prepared and more excited and less anxious about what's to come during the fall semester.
Thank you all so much. That was all great advice. And seniors, I want to leave you with this. One, I want you to know that this too shall pass. Please hold on to that. This will not last forever. This too shall pass. Second, stay safe. Third, be well. And the fourth and most important, reach out. Anything that's bothering you, reach out. Your mental health is most important. And I love that that was something that you heard said on a virtual college panel from institutions. So your mental health is number one. So if you are struggling in that capacity, reach out to your school counselor. If you're struggling with navigating the college application process, reach out to your school counselor. We are here for you. Thank you all so much for attending, and I appreciate it. Bye, seniors.